I'm Leona Wall, Leona Collier Wall.
And I'm Bill Wall. And we are married.
Married in,
53 years.
yeah, April the 4th, 1964.
Dang.
We have 8 children.
Six children and
Oh yeah, 6.
six children.
Or 8.
And what, 20 grandchildren
Yeah.
and 1 great grandchild.
Okay. How did y'all meet?
We met on a blind date. My sister Peggy and his roommate Mickey
Introduced her.
introduced us. Yeah.
We went on a date with them. Double date.
How did-
Dancing.
You went dancing?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Good.
Obviously, it went a little well. So when you guys went dancing, what was your initial thought when you saw him?
Well, he was funny. He was funny.
Was he a good dancer?
Yeah, he was a good dancer.
Well, Papa, what was your initial thought?
I wasn't a very good dancer.
Yeah.
I thought she was very nice, and I knew I had a little too much to drink, and I was wondering if she'd ever go out with me again.
So how did you ask her out on a second date?
How did I ask her out? Oh, I'm not sure. I called and talked to her on the phone, and but her parents would never let her, Leona, or Peggy, her sister, go out by themselves with just on a single date. So we double dated for a year or longer.
So did y'all ever go on a date by yourselves?
Not for the first year, I would say.
Probably not.
So did your dad give permission to go on a date by yourself or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean that was pretty straight up and forward, and
He
Very
used to
strict.
come up to the house and we'd have a date at the house. Or we went to St. Bernard. They had dances at St. Bernard. We'd go out there. We had dances at St. Vincent, and he'd come down to St. Vincent, and we had dances there.
So were y'all long distance?
Well, yeah, because I lived in Birmingham and he lived in Coleman.
Oh, okay. All right. How often did you see each other? When you were dating?
well, that varied. Mostly when we first started dating, it was at these school functions, and they, I don't know, maybe had one a quarter, and then we would double date with my roommate and her sister.
Yeah, we met in our second year of college, and then in January I went to New Orleans of that year, and I was in New Orleans for 6 months, or longer than 6 months, I guess, till the fall.
Was that like a clinical site? Was that?
It was it was. I went to psychology and children's hospital in New Orleans, and then I went to. I think I went to Mexico with Uncle Max and my mother and Mary and Ignatia Richard on my way back from. I think it was on my way back from New Orleans, was it? And so I was down there for a while, and then
You were gone for what, 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, and then I went to Tuscaloosa for a month for school in Tuscaloosa, and then, but I don't know if we saw each other in the middle of that or not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We must. I think we did, but I can't remember.
What was your most memorable date?
Well, I guess we didn't do anything but go to the dances at schools. So
When I got to be a senior, and she was, I don't know if you must have been, I must have been a junior, and you were a senior. We started still double dating, but we started dating with some of her relatives. Her,
when I moved to Coleman.
yeah.
Oh, that was after I graduated. After I graduated, I got an apartment in Birmingham, and we dated then. And then I moved home, I guess, right after or around Christmas or something. And so we started going out with my cousin James and his girlfriend. We'd go out on Smith Lake and have a good time. Boating and stuff. So we had a lot of fun on the lake in Coleman.
Okay.
And when I was in New Orleans, Bill would go up there and we'd go up there and go bird hunting or something at the house. And,
I did once, yeah.
yeah, and then Mama said he could
Bring the birds back to the house and clean them and eat them.
So he took them to the house and cleaned
Brought a
them.
couple of friends.
Yeah.
So, when did you know that you wanted to marry your mommy?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was a slow process for me. And, but I guess when I was a junior, I started thinking along those lines. And, you know, I knew I really liked her and liked being with her. And I was thinking that it was the Vietnam War was going on, and I thought I'd have to do a tour of duty over there. So I didn't know about getting married before I went to this tour of duty, because it was such a nasty war, and so many people were getting maimed and killed and everything else. So I think but later when I got to be a senior and so forth, and you know, and I didn't have to go in the military, I began to think a little more serious about it.
So, Grandmommy, did you ever think, like, were you ready and, like, knew that you wanted to marry Papa, or was it until he proposed that you were like, oh, did you know before?
Well, I knew before, you know, that I loved him.
Was there, like, a reason or a moment that you remember?
No, not. I can't remember a moment or anything, but I know we had a good time, and we were. I don't know. I knew I loved him.
What qualities did you look for when you were thinking about marrying him, if that makes sense?
Well, he seemed like a very good person, a very good Christian, and so I guess a good person and a good Christian, I guess.
Okay. what did you think about Grandmommy's big family from Coleman?
At first I was very overwhelmed, and she would say, "We're going over to Aunt Gertie's house," and I'd say, "Well, who's Aunt Gertie?" And then that's the way it went, because she had, she had 9 brothers and sisters, and I don't know how many uncles and aunts she has. I still don't know how many uncles and aunts she has.
I don't have any left now. We had Joanne.
But
Joanne's left.
her father and her mother made me feel very comfortable, and always invited me to eat. And
Yeah, we used to see, I guess, when I come up from St. Vincent, we'd have a, I guess, get together at the house, and before I went back to St. Vincent, we'd have hamburgers every time. Mama made hamburgers, wanted to make sure Bill had something to eat before he had to go back to St. Bernard.
so her family was humongous number of people. And most of my family was up north, and I was lucky to know my cousins and so forth. But it all worked out. It all worked out well. I think when we first started dating, her youngest brother was under 10, if I'm not
He was
mistaken.
like 3 or 4.
He was about 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years old.
It wasn't, after a couple of years of dating, you felt more like I was part of the family than
Felt like my brother.
Okay. What was your wedding day like? Because y'all had a double wedding.
Yeah, we had mass at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so we had to get up very early, about 6 o'clock, get our hair done and get ready. And we were very tired just getting up early and getting going. And then had mass, and then we had a little reception at the church and in the school basement. We had a cake and punch and nuts and mints and stuff, and everybody was, and Uncle Max sang us a couple of songs. My Beloved, what was that? I can't remember. A couple of good songs he sang to us. We were standing around listening to him, and then we had afterwards. Mom had food up at the house, and for his family to come and visit and everything, and families could get together. So we went up there, and I guess we didn't leave on our honeymoon until about 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon. We went to Chattanooga, Tennessee for our honeymoon. And it was very foggy that night. We couldn't see hardly 10 feet in front of us, so it was a real slow go, trying to go through those mountains to get up there.
How long was y'all's honeymoon?
But we went from Chattanooga to Nashville. We drove over there. We were going to go to the Grand Ole Opry or something over there, and so we went. I guess we spent the night on the road to Nashville, and then spent the night in Nashville, and then I guess after Nashville we decided we'd better head home. So we went back to Coleman and picked up a lot of our stuff there, and then went on to and spent the night there, and then went on to Atlanta.
Did y'all go on the honeymoon with yeah.
No, they went to Gatlinburg, and I think they spent their first night in Chattanooga too. So we don't know where they were, but I think they were in Chattanooga also, and then they went to Gatlinburg, and we went to Nashville.
Okay.
So it was nice planning our wedding with them, because we had dated and We were, you were good friends with Mickey, and we had a good time together all the time.
So who got engaged first?
Oh, I went over to Atlanta to a Christmas party. He invited me over for that, and then after the Christmas party, he told me to come in his bedroom. I was sleeping in his bedroom, and he was sleeping upstairs. So I went in his bedroom, and he opened the drawer and proposed to me.
Did you get down on one knee?
No, he just pulled it out of there and opened it up and showed it to me.
The ring.
The ring. Yeah. Opened up the drawer and pulled the ring out of the drawer. It was his grandmother's ring. It was a miner's cut ring, and he had it reset and wedding band set with a lot of diamonds across the top of it. It was real pretty. So.
How did you pick out the ring, Papa?
Well, my mother said that I could use that diamond if I wanted to. And so one of my high school friends had a father who was in the diamond business. And I was talking to him about what to do, and he put me in touch with a jeweler. And so I went down, and he showed me a bunch of rings and what he could do and so forth. And so I just took his advice and went that direction.
How long did you have the ring before you proposed?
Probably, well, I probably had the diamond maybe 4 months or so, and then getting the ring and so forth was probably 2 months or something like that.
Were you nervous?
Oh yeah. Suppose she said no.
Do you think she was gonna say no?
Well, I mean.
Well, you kind of asked me before,
Yeah, we talked about being married, and how many children we wanted, and
Oh, how many children did you guys plan on?
2.
No, we plan on. I think I said, let's have 5 or 6 or something like that. He wasn't so sure about that. As it turned out, we had 6.
That's so funny. Where were you guys working when you first got married?
I was working at Piedmont Hospital when I came over. I got his neighbor took me around to different hospitals, and I accepted a job at Piedmont Hospital, which was downtown Atlanta. And you were working at
United Motor Service, which was a parts distributor for General Motors parts. And working in a warehouse, taking orders over the phone and so forth.
So y'all moved to Atlanta?
Mm-hmm. Well, we moved into Brookhaven for a while in an apartment, and Bill had bought some mattresses and a bedroom suit, and so when we came over from Coleman, we had to put our bed together, and we had to rip all that paper off our mattress and everything in the middle of the night, and we had neighbors upstairs, and the little boy, we were so afraid we were going to wake up everybody trying to put our bed together. And he carried me across the threshold at that apartment, and we lived there. How long we lived there?
We lived there 4 months.
4 months. And we found out the rent was a little bit too high, so we moved to Buckhead into what they call a garden apartment. And so we lived there for a while. And we had Phyllis when we were down there in that garden apartment. She was born at St. Joseph's, which was downtown at that point, downtown Atlanta.
How long were y'all dating before you had Aunt Phyllis?
Oh, dating?
Dating?
I mean, not married. I'm sorry, not
Oh,
dating.
married.
10 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I had I think 2 periods before, well, after I was married, that was it.
Oh my goodness. What would you say the hardest thing that y'all had to go through together was?
Well, that's kind of hard. We had, we had one daughter that was born and spent 2 weeks, Christmas, in the hospital with, did she have pneumonia?
Oh, that was Frances. She
Yeah.
was our number 5 daughter when we were in, on Anthony Drive. Frances was like 6 weeks old, and she had a real bad cold, and the doctor was afraid it might go into pneumonia, so he wanted to put her in the hospital over Christmas so that, she would be all right in case she did come down with pneumonia. And so we spent the time in the hospital at Christmas, and then Bill's mother and Phil came in on Christmas Day and came down there to the hospital and stayed with Frances so that I could go home and have Christmas with the other kids.
And we had the routine problems of children and so forth being sick and having to adjust your schedule, and then financial problems and housing problems because the houses grew too small real fast for the number of people we had in them. But somehow or other we worked around it all, and with the help of family members and so forth, we were able to get through it.
So, what would you say got you guys through it?
What would you say, what?
Got you guys through those hard times was like advice, I guess, that you would give to.
Well, we knew we loved each other. We loved our family. We would do anything for our family, and everything always seemed to work out good. So
Well,
we just kept.
we always kind of looked at, we wanted to be married and we made it work. We wanted to be married, and so we did what we had to do to make it work. And it, you just have to, and prayer, a lot of prayer. We were very, very conscientious about our religion, about going to church, and getting the kids to church, and through the sacraments at school, and we tried and were successful at getting our school, or getting our children all the way through high school in a Catholic elementary school and a Catholic high school. It didn't leave a lot of time or money left for a whole lot of extras. But that's what we wanted in the family life. So that's what we made it work.
So, what was your greatest moment as a married couple? Or your greatest gift, you believe to be?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Every day is a gift. And looking forward to tomorrow.
Well, what is your favorite thing about each other? Grandmama, you go first. What's your favorite thing about Papa?
He always has a positive attitude. Always cheerful.
Well, she she's always been there and very helpful. I love being with her.
That's a tough question.
I know you got me all crying. Well, if you could describe Pawpaw in one word, what would you use?
I guess a very positive person.
A wonderful mate. A wonderful person to be with.
What do you feel like is most needed in a marriage?
Me,
Sure.
trust and love and honesty.
Faithfulness and love and fun. You know, cheerful.
What do you guys think kept you guys happy over the years?
Well, we knew we wanted to make our family work and make everybody a good home and wanted to make each other happy. So that's what we tried to do, you know, make each other happy and bring our children up right so everybody would get to heaven.
We wanted to make it work. That was our objective. That was our objective, is to make it work. We took our wedding vows and they meant everything to us. And you know, we've had some ups and downs, but I wouldn't call it anything life-threatening or marriage-threatening. And she's been fun to be with, and I thank the good Lord for her.
Well, that's all the questions I have.
Well, thank you, Amanda.
Yeah. Can we get a kiss in at the end?
Oh yeah.
You want a kiss?
Yeah, I want a kiss. All right, I love you guys.
Love you too, Amanda.
Because we never tried to hog the spotlight. You know, if anybody acted like they want to play big hero, then everybody else kind of stepped back and support them. You know, do everything they could to make them look good. And one day George happened to look at his wife and he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "You got
She says, "You have no."
you got a reptile lecture here at 10 o'clock at the Carolina Power and Light Company." And I said, "Well," he said, "you go up, go to the house and get cleaned up." He said, "And I'll bag up a bunch of snakes." So we put them like in pillowcases. And I took the snake stick and went up. And they'd taken creosote logs and built kind of a fence around me, between me and the audience. And I didn't know what snake I was getting out of which bag, you know, so they was all non-poisonous, so. and I'd dump a snake out and pick it up and say, this is such and such a snake, and, you know, quite common here, but they're non-venomous and all that. And I
Did
had
you-
one nice 4-line chicken snake there, and I took it out and we was looking at it, and, you know, I just showed it, and I laid it down on the floor, and I'm talking to the audience, you know, I've really got an eye on the snake, but I'm not trying to be too obvious, and the snake crawls up on top of these creosote logs, and the whole damn audience, you could tell, they all went to the back of the room, just as far away as they could get. And then I casually picked the snake up and put it back in the bag. Another time, on a Sunday, post office called and said they had a box there for us, and the boss told me to go on up and get it. He said, the 6-foot boa constrictor he'd ordered. He said, you can open it for him. So I
Thanks.
get up there, and there's a little box, a little cardboard box about so big, you know. And the guy, when he handed it to me, he said, what you got in there? And I said, 6-foot boa constrictor. And he said, no way. I said, wait a minute, I'll show you. So I opened up the box. There was like a pillowcase there. And I opened up the pillowcase and took out this 6-foot boa constrictor. And he was amazed. And he said, bring it in here and show old Joe.
Oh.
And we went near the other room there, and there was a mountain of mail. And I said, hey Joe, see what I got here for you. They showed him that, and he was petrified of snakes. he went to the top of that pile of mail and started swearing at me.
That's awful.
Is that Bonnie?
No, U.S. Cellular.
No.
462 something or other. 44 on the edge of the pond. And every once in a while I'd get an order, you know, for a couple of them, maybe a couple of 3-footers. So I'd go down to take off my shirt and I'd start feeling around. Always somebody come along and they say, what are you doing? And I say, I'm fishing for alligators. They say, oh yeah, sure you are. And I'd feel one and I'd grab him and pull him out.
How would you get him?
You could, if you work gentle, and you stick your hand in and you can feel them, and slide your hand one way or the other and find out when you get them up, preferably you go up to the head and hold their mouth shut and pull them out. And I'd measure them if they're long enough, and I'd put it in the bag or whatever. But they'd always get a different view on things, and they'd find out I was really fishing for
Yeah.
alligators.
Did you ever get bit?
Only time I ever got bit was with a small one, you know, might as well say a newborn. But they got tremendous closing power, but they don't have much opening power. I mean, it's awful hard to open their jaw once they close. And the trouble is, once they bite down on you, they start to wiggle a bit and trying to rip off a piece of flesh. I managed to get out of that one, and I was a lot careful from then on. Although we did have a 4-footer that got loose and got into another duck pond, and it had an island, you know, a small island in the middle. And boss and I went in after it, and somebody would get a hold of it and we'd flip it up on the bank, and he'd go flip-flop and go back in the pond. And after 2 or 3 times of that, I told him, I said, I'm going to get a piece of rope, put a noose in it, and I said, next time you make contact with him, I said, don't get him excited, and we'll put the rope on him. Well, a few minutes, he said, I got him by the leg, but I don't know whether it's front leg or hind leg. So I give him the rope, and he hooked it on the leg, and when he heaved, and I pulled on the rope, and that time he couldn't flip and flop and get back into the pond. But
How did you not know which leg it was? Was he under the water? Was he
yeah,
in mud?
In the muddy water, and you couldn't tell which was which.
Are you swimming in it?
Yes, we was right in there with him.
Oh my gosh.
It's like anything. If you know, you've had experience and you've done, you move slow and easy with them, and you can, grab onto them and slide your hand up and down, and find out which end you got.
Never.
And well, you've never been around them that much.
Did you have training on it? Did you
Boy, we did it by living with them. If you get a hold of an alligator, you can slide your hand. You get right astraddle their back, and that way they can't get you with their tail and they can't get you with their mouth, because you're inside their defenses. And you can slide your hand right down their snout all the way to the end, and shut them and grab that bottom jaw, and you pull them up like that, and you've got a little bit of leverage. And it's you live with that stuff. You don't think nothing of it.
How old were you?
Oh hell, like 25, 26,
I was
27.
gonna say you were in your 20s, weren't you?
Yeah, probably. But
How about that birthday party that woman wanted when she was away and somebody was taking care of her dog?
oh, that was up in Connecticut. They were having Bound and Bailey days, and this guy hired a bunch of, 2 or 3 lions, and went into the
For a dog's birthday party.
For a
went in-
dog's birthday
Went into
You
that
got that right.
Yeah, and they
That
have a
was her
little
baby.
dog there, and she was evidently a quite wealthy woman, and she wanted the birthday party, and he had to go out to hire children to come in and play with the dog and read to the dog and have the complete birthday party, with the cake and the whole.
That's hilarious.
It was her baby. She
You'd be surprised what people spend on their pets. Especially us little old ladies.
I brought a llama into the zoo one time, and an awful bad one for spitting. And when I brought it in, I told the boss, I said, that llama's an awful spitter. He said, oh Christ, he said, what are you going to do with that? I said, put him in the pen, put a sign on it, stand back, I spit. And we'd have, always on a Sunday afternoon, somebody would be coming, a couple of guys would be coming up with their white shirt all speckled up with llama spit, laughing and having a great time because they'd get the llama to spit and spit all over them. And State of Maine, I had a niece down here in Bodenham there, and I stopped and picked her up one time because I had to go down to State of Maine Game Farm and pick up some bear, and she was one of them bunny hugging freaks. And I meant to tell her all the way, don't kiss a llama, don't kiss a llama. But we get talking, I'd forget, and we got down there, and inside the compound, and I'll be damned if llama comes up to her, about that far away from her. And she goes, like that to the llama, and he goes, straight right in the face. And I said, oh yeah, I meant to tell you, don't kiss a llama.
Oh my
I don't think she ever kissed a llama after that.
I doubt it.
Don't kiss a llama. And I delivered a lion, to a zoo a private zoo up in Norfolk. And of course the guy's wife and kid had to be there, to watch what was going on. And he was worried about the kid. And I said, if you're worried about the kid, your wife and the kid, I said, put them in that empty cage and lock them in. I said, keep them the hell out of the way, and then if the lion does get loose, you won't be able to get in and get them. So we locked them up in the cage.
What?
Well, that was the safest place for them.
Yeah, we was, what was it, Greensboro, North Carolina, one evening, and they had the boss's son and his wife, and we was inside the compound trying to catch some deer, I guess it was. Well, anyhow, they had these monkey cages, inside the compound too, and some tourist there wanted to feed the monkeys some peanuts, but he couldn't, get to them with the protective fence was between him and the monkeys. So the boss's wife was in there with us, and so the guy gave her the peanuts to give to the monkeys, and we teased the hell out of her, but because she was the only one in in the zoo that the guy fed her the peanuts instead of giving them to the monkey. We teased her about that.
How long did you work?
Oh, I know, 4, 5, 6 years or so.
Yeah. How'd you get that job?
The guy was born and raised here in Hallowell, Maine, and he always had animals of one kind or another. And he'd have, in his backyard, he'd have big snapping turtles, or he'd have cages with our native red squirrels and gray squirrels and stuff like that. And he was trading these local red squirrels with people from other states, didn't have them.
Squirrels?
Yep. We used to get squirrels out of Missouri, but there's what they call 13-line ground squirrels. They burrow into the ground, and I guess around the golf courses and all, they created quite a problem. And a lot of times the young people there, the kids and all, would take their fishing pole there, and they'd make a noose in the end of their fish line and put it around the squirrel hole, and they'd back off, and then waiting until when that squirrel would pop his head up, they'd set the hook, set the noose, and catch him like that.
That's awful.
No, it wasn't awful.
No.
He'd sell them to old Johnny Flinchbar for $1, and then he'd sell them to us for, no, they'd sell them to him for a quarter. He'd give them a quarter, and he'd sell them to us for $1. That's the way they operated. There's deer, yeah, and elephants to the,
Birthday party.
yeah, up at DuPont's birthday party, Christmas party. The Christmas party, and I didn't realize the elephant was so dry, but she could hear a
Thank
brook
you.
off in the distance. It was nighttime. We got there,
Yeah.
and
Please.
when I unchained her from the truck, we
when you
hired
go out
somebody
the
else to
kitchen,
haul
it's
her.
to the left and underneath,
And
coming on
she
that
took
side,
off
and a
and
butter
running.
dish underneath.
Yeah, I thought, strange territory, boy, I'm in trouble. So
On the other side of the stove, towards
I
the
went hunting
sink.
for her, and she'd gone over to the brook to get a drink, and
And the knives are in the top drawer by the sink.
she drank her fill.
That one, yeah.
And just before we'd gone up there, they'd called and asked the boss if that elephant could climb stairs. He said, I don't know how big are the stairs. They turned out to be cement steps, and they was quite wide.
Well, that's good.
So, and luckily I always carried apples with me, and I grabbed an apple, and I bit on it, and I said, if you want that, Joe, you better come with me. And she wrapped her trunk around my wrist with that apple. She wasn't going to turn it loose. And she come down the stairs with no trouble. And I took her in for the birthday party, and did a few tricks with her, and then brought her out. Then we started out for home, and it was wintertime cold. And the truck driver, he went in at a truck stop there and went to sleep, and I'm watching the thermometer, and I stayed out in the truck with the elephant, and tried to keep a blanket on her. And when the temperature started dropping, I said, sleep or not, we're going. going for home. We headed for home. But now we got there was another animal dealer that called up, and he said he was buying out a zoo somewhere in Georgia, a private zoo, and they had an elephant. And they wanted to see if he couldn't make a deal with us to, winter the elephant and then sell him in the spring. And the guy I worked for said no. He said, how about I buy the elephant? I'll give you $500 and I think $300, which was giveaway price, $300 to transport it.
Thank you.
So he hired, dealer went out to the truck stop and hired a darky there with
A what?
hired a nigger there to transport it, had one of these moving vans. And I guess the elephant got on there and he didn't like the stuff that was on there and he started flinging it out. And the guy started screaming and hollering, get him off my truck.
How big was this elephant?
Well, she'd stand that high.
The elephant?
Yeah.
Was it a baby?
It was a young one. But this new one they bought was a full-grown old elephant. And he finally hired somebody else and they brought him in. And there again, it was night. And I said, let me unchain her and see how she does. And we both had our elephant hooks with us. It was a totally strange elephant. We never had no experience with her at all. So I crawled.
Another story I like.
You walk up to her and the first thing they do is smell your feet.
The elephants do?
Yeah, they smell your feet. And I unchained her and she didn't give us any trouble. And we'd been working on a shelter for her, an elephant barn for her. We put her in there and come out the next morning and she'd demolished the place. And the boss was getting ready to go to Florida. Him and his wife was going to go to Florida. And we worked like the devil to get that barn done. And he noticed the elephant reaching up for this big beam, like trying to pull it down. So he said, wait just a minute. He grabs an elephant turd and puts it up on the backside of that beam. She reached up there and smelled that and she pulled it back. And then she went up real slow and then, no way.
What was it you put there?
An elephant turd.
Oh, didn't like that.
That's funny.
She didn't tear the building down. And he told us to leave that elephant, not unchain the elephant. So, and we'd hauled water in 5-gallon buckets there for a day or so. And the boss's oldest son there, I don't know, 16, 17 years old, was a good animal man. And he said, I'm not going to lug any more water for that elephant. He said, I'm going to take her out to the water fountain there and give her a drink. And I said, we better get our act together, I said, before we do that. And he had a neighbor boy there that's always around. And I said, you guys take your hooks and lead her out. And I said, I'll hang on to this chain here, and if she gives us any trouble, maybe I can wrap it around a tree, to snub her up. But we took her out, and while we was watering it, I told one of the boys, I said, take a gallon can of grain and put it in her feed bin so she'd have a treat when she got back. And we put her back and chained her up and all, and she didn't give us any trouble. But I just, I just wanted to make sure with the boss's son, we didn't have trouble with the elephant getting away from us.
I feel like you just got lucky.
No, I think she's an old elephant. She'd been handled quite a bit, and she turned out to be an old elephant. I think somebody was doing research and they thought she was the oldest one in captivity.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, she finally died, but then I had some big 300-pounders or better, and I'd unloaded all
What was
those.
it?
A bear.
Oh, bear.
Fat old zoo bear, and I had one small one. And this small one went in with the big ones, and he'd give them one look, and he'd come right back over our shipping crate and right out the door. And we got out of the way, and he ran off a ways, but didn't go very far. And the guys said, "Oh, we're gonna have to get the dogs and run him down." And I said, "Oh, hell," I said, "just get your noose there and put it over his head and lead him over here." And they said, "Well, you've had the experience, you show us how." Well, I was all bullshit. I played it right to the hilt, you know, and I went over to the truck and I got my lasso and I started to make a noose and started walking towards the bear. You don't never walk right directly towards him, you walk kind of like you're going to go by him. Well, I got within a couple of feet and he stood up on his hind legs, you know, kind of sniffing at me. And as I kept on going, I stepped by him, I laid the noose over his head, real gentle. He got down on all fours and I snugged up the noose. And I led him over to the bear. I was just as amazed as those guys were. You know, I couldn't believe it. But I didn't let on. I said, "There, come on, you bastards, and give me a hand pulling that bear into that pen." And anyhow, when I got back to the zoo, I asked the boss, I said, "Hey," I said, "what the hell was the story on that little bear in that bunch?" And he said, "Why? What happened?" And I told him, and he got to laughing. He said, "Well, some guy down in Florida had that bear as a pet, and he was got to be too much to handle, you know, got to be a little bit rowdy, so."
You just got lucky.
I looked like a hell of a bear handler. I mean, real professional. And them guys never knew the difference. Because that was all what it was all about. It was Michigan there trying to load. There was a zoo up there. We'd sell them a zoo in the spring of the year. We'd sell them a bunch of animals, and then come fall, I'd have to go back up there and pick them up, you know. They had them for the summer and they didn't want to winter them. So. And we had one lion. We'd worked on that lion to try to get her into the shipping crate. And we was getting a little bit ugly. Had two guys helping me, and I said, let's go eat lunch. One of them said, "No, let's get that damn lion in that crate." I said, "No." I said, we're getting ugly, and I said, "Something's going to happen." I said, "Let the lion rest." Well, after we had lunch, we come back, and got everything set up just the way I wanted it. And I got up on top of the pen, and I was well behind. I had a firecracker. And I lit the firecracker and I dropped it, you know, well behind the lion. And I'll be damned, she ran around there and around this other side and jumped right in that damn shipping crate like slicker in hell. You know.
They definitely don't handle animals that way anymore.
Well, I don't know.
No, they probably handle them different now.
I feel like there's a lot of like precautions. Seem like y'all just figured it out.
Well, I had one out in Kansas. I had a shipping crate that was made out of an old filing cabinet. You know, it was all metal. And I looked at the bear and I said, "Geez," I said, "that bear will never fit in that crate." And the guy said, "You get your crate up there." He said, "and I'll put the bear in there." And I figured, well, you know, he was zookeeper. Maybe he knew something I didn't. Well, he fired up the damn air compressor. He had a long pipe on the end of it. And he started spraying that bear with this compressed air. And of course he'd snap, there's nothing there to feel except the air. And the bear started backing up, and he backed him right into my crate. And I swear that crate kind of expanded. And I secured the door and headed for home. I didn't waste no time. I felt the bear was uncomfortable, so I hurried for home. Get back. Oh, North Carolina, that about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the boss said, we'll unload them bear in the morning. And I said, no. I said, we'll unload them now. I said, that bear, I got one bear in there that's bigger than the crate. And so we got him ready, and boy, when that bear come out of that crate, he said, I guess you was right.
I bet he's happy.
Oh, I felt a lot better because the animal was out, you know.
Yeah.
Another time, they sent me off. Oh, what the hell was it? Louisville, Kentucky. There was a guy who had a pet store, and they was doing this urban renewal and all that baloney. And his buildings, his pet shop was going to be torn down. He had a tiger
What?
in his pet shop. And
Was it like a normal pet shop? What was it?
well, he had quite a big old building there, and he did have quite a tiger there. Anyhow, when I showed up, he said, where's your helper? And I said, don't have him. He said, well, I ain't gonna let you have that tiger unless you got somebody that's animal savvy can help you. And so I said, I'll find somebody. So I went out and I parked next to the curb, and this guy walks by, kind of rugged looking. And I said, hey, you want to make $10? He said, doing what? I said, help me load a tiger. He's suspicious as hell. I mean, who the hell ever stops you on the street and asks you? He said, well, any kind of dangerous? And I said, I don't think so. I said, hell, I do this stuff every day of my life. I said, don't think much of it. And I said, but I tell you what. I said, you come with me. And I said, anytime you think it's looking too scary, I said, you tell me that you're leaving. I'll give you your $10 and let you leave. I said, but I do want to know when you leave. So we got in there and we worked trying to coax that tiger into the crate. Didn't have no luck. Finally, I told the pet shop owner, I said, this guy worked for a veterinarian, so he was animal savvy. He'd never seen a veterinarian. Well, anyhow, we worked on it, and finally we said we'll leave him till morning. And this guy, I give him his $10, and I said, it kind of puts you in a pickle, don't it? He said, what do you mean? I said, you go home and tell your wife, say, honey, I was walking down the street and some guy offered me $10 to help him load a little tiger. I said, you're going to think you're spending too much time at a beer joint. And I said, you go to work and tell that story? I said, who the hell's going to believe you? And he said, Jesus, he said, I never thought of that. Well, again, went back next morning and they got the pet shop owner and his helper and got the tiger loaded, crated. And the guy was kind of a small statue fella, wasn't all that big. And I said, geez, I'll have to go hire some winos to help me haul this crate out to the truck. I said, between my boss and I don't want a hell of a lot in this world that we couldn't move. I said, he was pretty rugged too. And this little guy said, well, he said, let me try. And I said, you grab a hold of that side, and I said, you drag just as long as you can, and when your arm's ready to fall off, we'll stop. So we dragged it about 3/4 of the way to the door. And I said, all right, take a break. And I said, now we'll swap sides. You know, so you're other, and got it the rest of the way, and I backed the truck up and got it loaded. And I give him $5, so he was happy.
$5.
Another time, I was in Pennsylvania. Spent in Pennsylvania, I was loading deer. And there was a young fellow helping me there from the zoo. And it was raining, drizzly day, you know, and rotten day. I'd learned that carry 2 lassos because they're always saying, why didn't you throw it in? Why didn't you catch that one just went by? Here, here's a lasso. Show me what do you mean? So I give him a lasso. We was on the very last deer. And he said, I never caught a single deer. And I said, yeah, and I'm gonna be leaving out of here in a few minutes. I said, probably never come back, but I said, you can tell the guys down at the bid joint there that you caught half of them, or you can tell them you caught every damn one of them, and I couldn't throw a noose with a dam, you caught every one of them. I said, I'm not gonna be here to tell them you're a liar. He said, great, I never thought of that. So I mean, hell, if you wanna play hero, go ahead, I'll help you. Just like Juanita there, we went up to Cheryl's there one day in wintertime, and the next door neighbor moved his car over into Cheryl's driveway while his driveway was being cleaned out. And when we showed up on the scene there, this Charlie was just getting out of his car. He backed his car up and he was spinning the tires to beat hell, you know. And he went back down the driveway, and when he got out, he slammed the door, you know, like he's rather angry. And I said, Charlie, you want that car over in your driveway? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, I want you to get in that car and drive it over there for him, will you? I knew what kind of driver she was. Spin the tires, just barely spin them, and backed it up slicker than hell. Across the road and over in his driveway. So. Then Cheryl and I was off one time hunting rocks for
Oh my gosh.
project. We was out way the hell beyond in the boondocks, and miles and miles of nowhere. And there was a kind of wet spot in the road, and I thought I'd be able to, you know, power right on through it. I didn't. I got stuck. And we got out and looked. My side was buried in good shape, and her side wasn't bad. And I tried, you know, put it in four-wheel drive and couldn't get out. And I said, Cheryl, get over here and drive this damn truck. And I got the chains out and the come-alongs, you know, and hooked up. She said, can I work them come-alongs? And I said, no, you can. You ain't strong enough. You work the truck. I said, don't spin the tires too hard. And I working the come-along. Pretty soon I heard toot-toot. And Cheryl, you know, started getting traction. And she pulled it up on solid ground. And after I put the chains up and got back in the truck, I said, now Cheryl, I said, you got to remember how to tell this story. I said, you tell them that I got the truck stuck and couldn't do a thing with it, couldn't get it out or nothing, and you had to get over here in the driver's seat and drive the damn thing out. And she said, well, that wasn't exactly how it happened. I said, you just don't have to tell it all. I said, just tell the good part. You know?
He doesn't lie. He just stretches the truth.
Well,
Right.
don't tell the whole truth. Well, hell, I figure it makes somebody else look good, you know, it makes you look good too.
Oh, I think so too.
Because we got stuck up on the mountain there one time, and we had Michael and Richard with us.
Oh, Richard and Michael.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a hell of a time, and I was in a mud hole, and there wasn't nothing else, a tree or a stump or nothing to hook onto. So I took my crowbars and drove them into the ground at an angle and tied them together. And of course, the boys, they wanted to be the big attraction, and they wanted to work to come along. So I told them, go ahead, and they was working them till they couldn't work them anymore. And I said, all right. I said, you come over here and you watch these damn crowbars so they don't pull out of the ground. And I kept working it, and she was driving. And pretty soon I heard toot toot, and I told the boys, because I like play the bullshit. I told them, I said, get out of the damn road. I said, your grandmother's coming on. I said, she ain't stopping for nothing. Get out of the road. And of course I unhooked the come-alongs real quick, and we got she pulled on, we got out there. We got everything picked up and put back in the truck. And we started off, and on the low, when we started hitting elevation, the the ground had thawed out, so where it was about that much mud on top of solid ice. And come to a corner, you know, and I'd turn the wheels, you know, to make the corner, and the wheels would just kind of snowplow, so I'd let off the gas. I hated to lose my momentum, but we'd make that corner, and I'd figure, whew, we made that one. And all along there, I'm thinking, Jesus, well, if we have trouble, I can hook onto that tree. Yeah, if we run into trouble, we can hook onto that. We can hook on that one. And she was doing the same thing, and we fought it all the way to the top of the mountain. And this was May.
Yeah,
It was
snow
May.
and ice.
And we get to the top of the mountain, started down the other side, and she said, "Can we stop and rest?" It was a damn white knuckle ride for her all the way up. You know?
I needed to rest.
She needed a rest. We got
It
out.
was stressful.
We got out, and the boys and I playing in the damn snow and ice. Right, you know, there was right there on the shoulder of the road, and we made it down the other side of the mountain pretty good, and come across a tree across the road. And of course, like I say, I played up big for the boys, and I said, "Oh Christ!" I said, "What are we going to do now? How the hell are we going to get around this thing?" And so I managed to get around that one. Got down there a couple miles further, and there was another tree across the road, and I couldn't get around that one. So I was saying to the boys, I said, "What the hell are we going to do now?" I said, "We can't get around this tree." I said, "There's 2 miles to the road, main road." So I knew I had a bunch of junk in the truck, so I reached in. I got a saw or an axe or something. I started cutting the limbs, and the boys having a hell of a time hauling them things off the road. And
Just cut the tree
Oh,
down.
at the first place where we got stuck, Michael said, "Don't you think we ought to go for help?" And I said, yeah, sounds like a good idea. I said, only about 6 miles down the road here. I said, you can find a telephone. And I said, who are you going to call? I said, then if you find somebody to call, I said, how the hell are you going to tell them where we are? We're up here in the middle of He said, I guess I'll stay here and help you guys.
I also like the tree monster,
Oh, Christ, that tree
the
monster.
one that helps the guy's wife that has cancer. Every time she goes by it,
Oh, yeah. There was a tree, she spotted, there was a tree growing here, and it had a branch. It grew out, straight out, but it rubbed against this other tree. And this other tree, it had made quite a scar, and it looked like, almost like damn nigger lips, you know, around this tree limb. And she had me go back and look at it, and I liked the looks of it. So I come home, and I made a couple of eyes, you know, maybe that big around, kind of oval shape with a big, painted them white with a white pupil in it, and took them back up there and put them up there, and they did look like a damn monster, you know, chewing on this tree limb. And
later on,
later on, somebody liked the looks of it, and they took a red hat, knit hat,
and put it
and
on his head.
stapled on it, and they had a white a red scarf, and they put that around the neck, and I thought, but over the years it's getting kind of ratty looking. I thought, gee, that added a lot of color to it. So I was thinking, Christ.
You made a top hat,
Yeah, I found a piece of plywood, and I cut out a top hat and a big bow tie.
big red bow tie.
And I had put that on, went up and put that on there, and replaced their hat, and gee, it showed up pretty good. And
Where is it?
up near Moscow.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, some guy said that he was taking his mom or dad or,
taking his father to cancer
Cancer
treatment there once a
treatment.
week or something.
and he just loved going by that.
Yeah, so that was a highlight
Tree
of
monster.
highlight of his trip, going by that tree monster. It set off, you know, off the road a little bit, and you really had to look for it to see it. But
But I like doing things like that, out in the blue.
you know, it
Little
doesn't bother,
things.
don't hurt anybody. It don't.
Little things to make someone's day.
Yeah, but that tree limb is gone now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but still, we've got the big old nigger lips there, and
Yeah.
looks good.
Oh. Well, nothing lasts
Nothing
forever.
lasts forever. No, it's hell.
It's but
Everything, even got her to shoot a damn moose with a slingshot.
When?
I used to have 3 or 4. I used to always carry 3 or 4 slingshots and a lot of marbles with me.
we
Yeah,
were,
I've played with those.
Yeah, that's what I grow. Every time I see slingshots, I think of you guys.
And then we,
Yeah.
we was up there, and this moose was down on her elbows there, eating
salt.
salt off the road. And she, I don't know, gonna get out and get a closer look at it or something. And I said, take a slingshot and shoot him in the ass.
I did.
And she got out and shot him in the ass, pop. And the moose jumped up and ran across the road and turned around and looked, like, what the hell was that? And stood there a minute, then come back into the road to get more salt.
Didn't bother that moose at all. Probably like a mosquito biting him.
Yeah.
If he hit him, it might have made a difference.
No, I
But
don't
with
think
my
so.
strength, I don't have the power that
Yeah, we'd be
men
driving
have.
along 45 miles an hour. At 40 or 45 miles an hour, she could hit those road signs about 80% of the time.
I was getting good.
Connor and I would go down there
Yeah.
and shoot them straight up and see how accurate like we would be, like where they would land to see how close we got it to being straight up and down.
I made I got a potato gun one time. It was made out of this PVC pipe and all. It was a rage years ago, and you'd open up the back end, you'd spray hairspray in there, and you put the cap back on, and then they had a ignition device there.
And you put it
hit
out
that-
there.
Put an apple or a potato or something down the barrel, and then you'd shoot it quite a ways. And Christ, I had Michael Richard here.
They had
I think
all
yeah,
of
I think I
that.
had rotten apples, and I put in there, and I said, somebody said, let's shoot it straight up in the air,
Oh yeah.
and so I'm holding it straight up, and I had one kid over here and one kid over here, and I said, you tell me when it's, and they'd tell me to move it a little bit this way or move it back a little bit this way or whatever, and when they decided it was just about right, I fired it. And the stuff went way the hell up into the air and it come down and splattered all around us. Oh, we used to have a time with the boys there.
I wonder if they remember all that stuff.
Oh, I think so. A lot of it.
I liked it when we left her out in the middle of the pond on a rock.
On a rock.
Oh, me?
Yeah, on that damn rock, and I mean, I guess you had faith that we were gonna come back and get you.
I think she could have swam to shore anyway.
It was cold.
Yeah, it was. Well, that water up there is colder. That mountain water.
Pape, do you remember when you and I were canoeing?
Yeah.
And the grass was super tall, and we were going through this skinny grass, and I was singing just around the river bend, and we go around the river bend, or like the little bend in the grass, and there was a moose standing right there.
Yeah, moose in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so close to it, and I was like, if I would have been quiet, the moose probably would have
Was
stayed.
that down through the? Bald Mountain
Bald
Pond?
Mountain Pond, yeah.
Oh yeah, we love that because almost every time we went canoeing down through that, you would see the mother moose or
Is that
Well,
where
we
y'all
call-
took me?
We call her Old Granny Moose.
old granny moose.
Did
we
y'all
see
take
her-
me there?
We took you there too, I think. And,
Took me to some river thing.
and I know I dropped you two off to canoe.
Mm-hmm. And then we
I
canoed
went
to
down
you.
around to the
Yeah.
rest
Yeah,
area,
right.
parking area.
Then that other
Camp.
place where we was canoeing and we come up on this moose with her head in the water. And I watched, see what the hell she's gonna do. And she started digging with a paddle and I figured, hell, she wanted to get close to that moose.
Try and ride it.
I think we got within a canoe length or less. And That damn moose just exploded.
Exploded right out of that water. But I was digging so that I could jump off it. All I wanted to do was say I rode it for one step.
All I
And
wanted to
then
say
I
was
was
I
gonna
rode
fly
it.
off that thing. But I was not gonna stay on it because I knew he could hurt me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I never got close enough. Or I would have. Yeah, I'm a little dangerous.
Oh, hell,
We've been good to porcupines.
oh,
We were, the snowshoeing one day and a porcupine walked right across my snowshoes.
yeah.
No way.
No.
Brushed against her leg. Brushed against her leg.
That's crazy.
I thought the brush should come back and I looked and I said, Bill, look. I didn't even know they come out in the winter, but evidently they do.
Yeah.
And then the next time we went, we took a 5-pound block of salt for him. Because I said, what can we take him for a treat? He said, salt. Salt was the best thing, and of course, all the wildlife like that.
50-pound block.
You know, the
Big-
deer, was it 10?
50.
50? Oh,
that
oh.
was, that was
No
damn
wonder you
heavy.
were hurt by the time we got in here.
Yeah, that was a heavy one.
Oh, well, it lasted him quite a while. Because not only the moose, the deer, the porcupine,
Yeah.
all kinds of wild animals came to that spot where we put it. And it was far enough in so it wasn't, so hunters could get and use it as a
Bait for deer.
bait
Yeah.
for deer. We didn't want them using it.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
I want it fair game. If you're gonna go hunting, go hunting.
Mhm.
Don't bait them.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of experience up in that area. We
Oh, yeah.
driving along one time, man, I saw this guy with his wood splitter, working his wood splitter, and usually it takes 2 or more to handle, wood splitter in good shape. So I pulled up in his driveway and packed under a big tree,
And I sat there and read.
and I went over to help him with his wood splitting. And finally the wood splitter ran out of gas, and I said, fill that thing up again, we'll run another batch through there. And he said, no, I'll let it rest. He said, he was telling me who he bought it from, and he said, you know Joe Clark down the road? And I said, no. He said, you don't know Joe Clark? He said, where the hell you from anyhow? I said, Pittston. He said, well, what the hell you doing up here? I said, they're helping you split wood. He said, well, people don't do that anymore. And I said, damn it, I'm people. He said, yeah, but he said, you know what I mean. And I said, well, if you don't want to split wood, I guess I'll go. So, never saw him again.
I remember when we went, y'all took me to go see different covered bridges and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we were driving, and like y'all stopped because a partridge and its babies were crossing the road.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You
And
like,
then a little ways further
Yeah.
again.
like an hour later, you're like, you'll never see that. You'll never see that. Like an hour later, another partridge and its babies were crossing the
It was
road.
Yeah.
just the right area.
Yeah.
Well, we lie a lot, too.
But I hadn't seen him like that.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that before. But it's
So
hilarious that it happened.
I was amazed to see it twice too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's fun.